Hello everyone, I want to do a quick video real quick just to show you how to do the highlights and shadows project very easily. Some people are having a little hard time with it, so I'm going to show you how you can use your adjustment layers to make it easier. The first thing is this is actually part of my Cartoon Me project. I had to cut out my head, so that's why my photo looks like this. You can see actually my original, it's the full image, but with the Cartoon Me I cut it out. Since this looks like a better image, I'm using this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my adjustments layer. I'm going to add a posterize. What this does is it basically creates blocks of colors for that we're going to be using for the highlights and lowlights. It pretty much does a lot of the work for you visually. You still need to, however, use the pen tool in order to create these shapes. First thing you're going to do is you are going to trace your entire head. I just added another layer because in order to represent this, I'm going to actually use my pen tool. This first color that I'm going to write the number 1 on, this is kind of like my middle ground color. I'm going to trace the entire head, and that's going to create that color. You're going to see that because it's going to be represented through the spaces between the highlights and the lowlights that we're going to create. So these gaps between them, that's going to create that color for us. So basically where we didn't draw, that color is going to be shown. The next color that we're going to focus on is this area right here. This area right here is that slightly lighter shadow, but it's not like the really dark shadows. So basically what I would do is I would come in and I would trace this entire shape that we see all as one giant shape. You can even cross features. It doesn't matter even if it goes over your eye. It doesn't matter. We're just going to create that big shadow. Okay, so this would be representing basically that one big shape that I have there. Okay, and I would do this with the pen tool, not the paintbrush. I'm using the paintbrush because it's just I'm trying to show you where I'm drawing at. Okay, then the next shape that I'd be creating would be this darkest dark. That would be represented by this kind of dark green, dark gray, and dark red. All right, so that would be my third shape. So I'd create something up here, all the way down here, across my cheek, down my chin, around my neck, around this portion of the neck, and then all the way back up. So that would be my third shape that I would create. You can see that there's other shapes that I would have to create with that same color on the underneath my eyebrow and underneath my nose and onto my cheek. So I'd have to create them as well. Then I do the opposite. Instead of the shadows, now I'm going to do the highlights. The first highlight is going to be represented by this green and this yellow that's here. This second highlight is going to be by this area that's almost completely white. So again, I'm going to create a shape. This is going to be our fourth color. I'm going to copy even underneath where it's yellow. Come all the way down here and up and around. So again, that would be my fourth shape. My fifth shape would be these super bright highlights. So that would be something right here. There would be one there. That would be our fifth shape. And you would get one right here as number 5 as well. And then down here on my neck and right here on my cheek. So in the end, you're going to wind up seeing a bunch of layers. Here's one that I did during class time as an example of a student. You can see that we have the brightest bright, the slightly darker brightness, the middle tone, the slightly dark darks, and then, oh, actually that's right here, and then I would put the darkest darks. So I think I'm still short one color here, but you can understand what it would look like. You remember that you need to use the eyedropper in order to get these colors. A hint for this, what you can do is you can get the eyedropper on the original face. So again, I'm going to go back to this. You're going to hide this. So these are kind of your zones. You would basically just trace this area, use the eyedropper to get your color, and then you would put that in. And then your next one, if you switch this drop down to HSL, you can change this lightness slightly down to get your first shadow, and then even further down to get your second shadow. Then go back to this color and move it up for your first highlight, and then move it up even further for your second highlight. In the end, you're going to see something that's going to look similar to this in your project. Highlights, middle ground, shadows. In the end, that's all it's going to look like. and it should be something that's nice and easy. Again, your project is going to look something similar to this. You are not drawing any lines, just highlights and shadows. Hope this makes it easier. Let me know if you have any questions.